Okay, we're live.
Hey, I'm Paul with Hyperbaric Plus. That's Hyperbaric Plus if you look for us on the web. But I've got a story here. I had a good friend of mine, Chris, gives me a call and he says, hey, I got a friend in town from Dallas and he's struggling. He's got some pain he wants to deal with. And I think the first conversation was, I thought they wanted to get in the chamber. And Chris had been in the chamber and where all of my clients talk about successes, and he heard about Avazia, which is microcurrent technology. So Chris brings Paul down here, and we start talking about what the problem is. And Paul, if you don't mind, just give us a little lead in to what happened and what made you come to see me.
Okay, I had a hip operation, didn't work. So I went to a second opinion, and he said it's my back, not my hip.
Now this is, at first you had a hip problem.
Yeah, my hip was in pain. I was in pain on account of my hip.
Yeah.
And so I went and he operated on it, put me a new implant in there, and it didn't work. So I got a second opinion. And the second opinion guy said, it never was your hip, it's your back. So I went to a back doctor and he said, yes, it's your back, but I'm gonna send you to a pain doctor. And he gave me the epidural in the back. And
Now, was this on the first epidural?
it was the only one.
Okay.
It's the only one.
So typically, when I went through all this, I had 3 epidurals before they would do a discectomy. So I didn't like the fact that I tried to get out of it, but my insurance would not cover my back surgery if I didn't try to alleviate the pain with an epidural. So that, you said pain management a minute ago, but we kind of missed the pain part. So you're doing pain management, try to eliminate this back pain. And so you did the first epidural, and what happened?
Okay, it wasn't back pain, it's hip pain. But it's
So
my
that-
back causing it, radiated down my hip. And anyway, I got the shot in my back and I didn't notice anything. So a few days later, after not using the bathroom, not having a bowel movement, I came to Oklahoma City to help my buddy Chris do something. And it's a long drive up here, so I took a little nap when I got here. And when I woke up from the nap, I was in severe pain. And it was high between my stomach, my abdomen, and my chest. Right there at the bottom of my chest, my ribs. And so went to the emergency room, and they thought it was my heart. So after a lot of heart tests and things, they said didn't know what it was. So I went to OU Hospital. Oklahoma University Hospital. And they figured out it was my gut. I hadn't used the bowels since I got that shot. And that was like 3 or 4 or 5 days. So I haven't had a bowel movement without laxatives since then. And that was almost 2 years ago.
So you've been able to manage it by using laxatives, and you've kind of learned how to handle this.
I wait 3 or 4 days, let it get in there, you know what I mean? So I don't have to do this every day. And I take the laxatives, and do laxatives, and different laxatives, change it up, and just do everything I can to have some kind of bowel movement, which is very watery. Very seldom is it normal. And since I've been doing this is my 3rd treatment.
So I'm going to explain what this is. So we use the Avazia, which is microcurrent. And when Chris and Paul and I got to talk, I said, well, let's go try this. I want to introduce you to microcurrent. And all I do is demo the equipment. So we went in and we did a session about 30 minutes. And we did what we call the grid. We find the pain point, we do the grid, and then we paint. And it's just kind of, I just showed Chris how to use this device. And it's very simple once you understand the terminology, and you can actually write down a protocol and go do this protocol. So that's what we did on Friday evening. And Friday, you said you were headed back to Texas. You only had 30 minutes for me. So we went in there for 30 minutes, and then Saturday morning you called and said,
I had a bowel movement.
which you weren't accustomed to. I mean, you haven't been that automatic in 2 years.
I Almost 2 years.
Mhm.
Yeah, this has been going on 2 years in January, which is like 3 more months.
Mhm.
Been going on for 2 years.
So he goes, Paul, I got to do that again. We got to do that microcurrent again. And I said, dude, I'm headed to a funeral, and then I got to go mow the yard. And he goes, Paul, you don't understand. I got to come and see you again before I go back to Texas. And okay, come out to my house after the funeral. I'll call you. I'll give you directions. So Chris brings Paul back out to my house, and we did another 30 minutes. And you all got to dive. You got to get in the chamber 2 times on Saturday, so I don't want to leave that out. The synergistic value of doing hyperbarics and microcurrent is huge. And that's what we see with a lot of our clients. So I don't want to discount the fact you did a couple of sessions of hyperbaric air. So anyway, you did hyperbaric air. We meet out at my house, did another 30 minutes of microcurrent. And again, Paul was headed back to Tulsa, to Texas. So I'll see you later. Thanks a lot, blah, blah, blah. And so then you call me Monday. So what happened that made you stay in town?
I started using the bathroom.
You guys.
And the first time, it was quite a bit. It was really a normal bowel movement. And since then, it was good, it was less, and then it was less. Okay, and that's why I'm back again.
Mm-hmm.
I would really like to get this straightened out.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what a problem it is. I mean, nobody can imagine what I've been going through over this.
You don't know how many people that I deal with here that have these issues. And in fact, after we started talking about this, one of my other clients is seeing Tina Oliphant, who does microcurrent. She's a good client of ours, and she actually learned about microcurrent the same time I did. And she's working on one of our clients that has constipation issues, and all of a sudden, boom, she's getting more regular. So it's something electrical. I mean, our body is all electric. It all operates through the fascia. It's communicating with organs from our vagus nerve, from our brain to our vagus nerve to our organs. That fascia is connecting everything. Scar tissue, in this case, maybe the epidural. I had a friend of mine, the reason I had a little insight to what you were telling me, a friend of mine that 25 years ago we met, and maybe 20 years ago we met. 10 years ago, I drug him over to a clinic I was working at, thinking hyperbarics might help him. And he did 40 sessions of hyperbarics and never moved the needle. I think this is electrical. I mean, I think there was an interruption. They hit a nerve when they did that epidural.
Absolutely.
I think, and I'm not a doctor. I'm just guessing at what's going on. I don't have to be a doctor to do the things we do here. I'm a dive shop. We do diving, which is simulating hyperbaric, simulating a scuba dive, and it's hyperbaric air only. There's no oxygen involved. And so we've got a lot of other people that have come in around us that are working with us in their specialty. How can we use hyperbarics and then what I do to have an even better result? So this friend of mine, I made mention, I said, you need to talk to your doctor. What I think's going on, what he dealt with, is he slowly lost his mobility. His legs went away over the course of about 1.5 to 2 years after his epidural. His legs went away. He no longer had use of his legs and was in a wheelchair the last at least 10 years of his life. And so we had that conversation, and you mentioned after we talked about that you were losing, something was happening, there was a sensation in your thighs that your legs just kind of gave out.
And there's a lot of pain.
And a lot of pain. And so what happened to that?
I noticed that this morning, most of that pain's gone.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what it is. I can't say it's this or that. I don't know what it is. I'll tell you something else. I've checked, and this condition is potentially fatal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
This deal in my back, it said there's a lot of people it's fatal to.
I know that today, if I was lined up to have a discectomy, that I wouldn't do the epidurals myself because of how many people I've met that have had a bad outcome. And I think you're probably in that same.
Yeah.
So anyway, and you're still dealing with the back pain at some level. Have you got relief?
It's a back injury,
Right.
but the pain is in my hips,
Mhm.
just like it was for the operation.
And has that subsided at all since we've been working with you?
No.
Okay. So we still got some work to do, but 3 sessions
That's all. Yeah.
has been a game changer already. So
Absolutely.
what's important about Avazi and what I concentrate on is teaching my clients how to use the equipment. In fact, at 1 o'clock today, we have our next class. We have a weekly class. Anyone that's bought that equipment can come in, and we try to take their expertise to the next level. And if everybody owned an Avazia in their household, you'd be able to have, you can't hurt anybody with it. There's a couple of things you don't work with Avazia over an electrical implant, a pacemaker, any kind of electronics that's implanted in your body. You don't work over that. But or outside of that, there's really nothing else that you have to be concerned about. And you know when the voltage is too high because you jerk. In fact, when we were working with Paul, every once in a while he would jerk, and I think he was waking things up. I think we're reestablishing those nerves, that path of nerves, and I think that's what that jerking was. But I think you stay the course, and I would love for you to end up with one. I'm not going down to Texas, and I know it's a long way for you to drive up here. I'm trying to connect Paul with a provider that I've got down in Texas, and see if somebody in his neighborhood has got microcurrent and offers that as a therapy. But I'm ecstatic what happened with you. I was getting ready to tell the story about the gentleman that came in with double sciatica that happened to him 2.5 years ago. And in one session, one side is totally clear of pain. And now I'm going to guess it'll probably be temporary. So again, having this at your disposal at your house where you can do it at any time, I think over time you're going to have a longer space of time in between therapies that you don't have that pain. Okay. That's what or in your case, you're moving. I know when we were in there working just now, you said, "Hey, Paul, I haven't felt this in a long time, but I can literally feel my muscles inside my gut working."
Okay, that's
and
right.
I said, well,
that's a biggie.
What happens when you're sitting around and people go, "Man, are you hungry?" Well, a lot of times that's not your stomach, that's your bowels moving debris in your bowels. There we go. Thank you. So if you're moving things, that's what it feels like, is all those muscles are working because it's moving that to eliminate. And so the fact that you haven't felt that for so long, it was that obvious. And that just, he goes, "Hey, Paul, I got muscles moving in my belly. I hadn't felt moving in a long time." So
can I say something real quick?
Yeah, please.
You said you're ecstatic about this. I'm not. It's been so depressing so long. I got some hope.
Well,
you gave me some hope. This gave me some hope.
That's what.
And you don't know what that means to me.
Well, I can't imagine having to do what you're doing right now after that epidural. And nothing.
You don't know how terrible. Nobody knows how terrible it is.
Yeah.
It's caused me a lot of pain. It's caused me so much problems. You wouldn't have no idea. We don't have time to the problems it's caused.
Well, I know when you called me that there was no possible way I could say, "No, I got to mow the yard." Because I mean,
you just didn't mow the yard.
And the fact that you had that kind of, this is not uncommon around here. In fact, we just did a deal a second ago. One of my clients got about 25 sessions in, and his vision changed. He gave a story about how he lost part of his vision. And in 25 sessions, that wasn't on his list to check off. He wasn't in here for vision. But when you do 40 sessions of hyperbarics, a lot of things change. And then he's also doing the neuroptimal, which is neurofeedback. So you never know which one of these things, especially when you combine them. I mean, I wish you lived closer. And I know people down where you live. If this is something that needs to continue, I'm going to hook you up with some people that have hyperbaric chambers.
Please.
And we're going to find somebody with microcurrent, so you don't have to. I hope you'll buy a microcurrent. I really think that's the game plan for you.
You're just trying to sell me a microcurrent.
Very, very simple to use, but man, to spend $100 or $150 for 45 minutes at a doctor.
I'll do anything.
I know
anything.
you will. I know you will.
I want to kill somebody. I'll kill them. I want this to happen. I'm not kidding you.
Well, it's a pleasure knowing you, and I appreciate you coming in and doing this video. Earlier when I said, you're having all this success, do you mind sharing your personal problems with the world? And he goes, hey man, if this saves one person, he said, what I've gone through, if it saves one person, the grief I've had to do, that's why he's here. And I admire my clients that'll come in and share their stories. And that's what we're doing. So are we good? Ryan is sitting behind the camera helping us in here, and I appreciate everybody tuning in. We're trying to build a little library, and now I've got one for valves that don't work. Let's see if we can fix them.
That's my nickname.
Yeah. We're going to change your nickname. Well, Paul, thank you so much. Thanks for taking a minute. Chris, thanks for connecting us. And until then, come see us at Hyperbaric Plus. Get online, check out some of the other videos. I think you'll be impressed with what going on a little diving expedition or a little bit of microcurrent can do for you.